Whoa! Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a great day. Now, I want to give a quick preface. I have tried to record this video a couple times now, and unfortunately, there's been some problems in post, and now I'm forced to do this video live. And unfortunately, when I do things live, sometimes they're not as clean. So bear with me, but I hope you are all having a great and wonderful day. Now, the conversation that I want to have today is about RFK Jr., of course, and he just landed an hour-long interview on CBS, and that's incredible, right? That's a good thing. He's going to be in front of millions of people. This is an hour-long interview where he's able to go deep into many different conversations, many different subject points. He could talk about his campaign. He could talk about his personal life. He could talk about his vision for the future of America. These are good things. These are incredible things. Now, unfortunately, you already saw the title. Things happened to not go the way that I actually thought they'd go. But if you're a common viewer of the channel, you'd know that this isn't the first time that the media has actually manipulated a lot of viewers. And now they've actually manipulated RFK Jr. Now, you might be surprised by that, or you might not be surprised by that, but I actually believe that there's, such thing as journalistic integrity. But this has been so botched, and it's so sad to see. Now, this was uploaded a couple days ago. This is a minute and 36 second clip, and this is actually a pretty decent clip of RFK Jr. and Majors. Now, I'll play it, but this is probably the best thing you're going to see, which is unfortunate, from CBS. Check this out.
Did you watch the president's address last night?
I watched part of it.
Your impression?
I think it was more of a statement about what his accomplishments were rather than sort of a reassurance to the American public about where we are today.
Did he provide an adequate explanation of the circumstances of the last week, to your belief?
Now, I also want to interject this idea to just see how Majors is almost interrupting him every time he's trying to speak, right? And that is so unfortunate. Now, I could argue in the same way that, he's just trying to do his job. He's trying to make sure that the American people know where he stands. And in that process, you need to ask questions. But I don't think you need to interrupt the man every 10 seconds. Now, as someone who listened to the entire 1 hour and 6 minute interview whenever he sat down with CBS, I could tell you that this happened the entire time, which sucks, but it's true. Now, I want you to see RFK kind of put his foot on the gas and let him not be dictated by Majors here. Check this out.
I don't think so.
What's missing?
Well, I've known Joe Biden for 40 years, and I commend him and respect him for the 50 years that he gave in service to our country. But I think he tarred that reputation and that career over the past year by refusing to let go of power. And, one of the things that a lot of Americans blame Donald Trump for is the January 6th event, which
Do you?
suggested that he was unwilling to let go of power.
It's twice.
And let me just finish what I'm saying. One of the most important events in the history of our country was George Washington's decision to resign after the second term. So I think part of our traditions is that our leaders relinquish power, and that they do that graciously. And no, I don't think that President Trump did that graciously, and I don't think President Biden did either.
There you go. All right. Now, like I said, that's probably the best minute 30 seconds of this interview. Now, you're probably asking, wait, the interview was an hour long, right? Well, why'd they just post a minute 30 seconds of it? Now, I'm gonna go through my line of thinking here. Okay, this is just a teaser. Okay, CBS saying they sat down with him, see more tomorrow. Okay, so you're thinking, okay, well, tomorrow I'll see the entire 1 hour episode, right? That didn't happen. You know what they actually shared? Look at this. They shared 6 minutes of the interview. So you're probably thinking, okay, well, 6 minutes, that's pretty good, right? 6 minutes on a major network, that's not bad. Which I would say, you're right, that's pretty good. But unfortunately, most of these 6 minutes is entirely irresponsible journalism that is so condescending and so biased that this is just a hit piece on RFK Jr. Don't believe me? I will show you the first, I believe it's 40 seconds of this. Okay, look at this.
To our friend Major Garrett's newsmaking interview with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the independent presidential candidate. We'll tell you about the polling first. It estimates that Kennedy is at around 6% of the national vote, which is well enough to make a difference in battleground states if, and that's the key part here, he gets on the ballots in those states. Kennedy is an environmental lawyer, of course. He's also the son of the late Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and his campaign slogan is this: people before politics, country before party.
Pretty good, right? People before parties. That's good. All right. Now, look at what he just says. He just has to add this line. Okay. He has to disrupt all of the good that RFK stands for to say this.
People before politics, country before party. But his words, what he says out there on the campaign trail, many people file it in the category of divisive nonsense.
Divisive nonsense. Right now, chat, let me know. Does RFK Jr. say divisive rhetoric? Does he say divisive nonsense? Or, as far as I could see, so much of RFK Jr.'s talking points, and from what I believe after reading a lot of what he stands for and his policies, and just the general way that he communicates, because he is such an eloquent communicator, is that he actually communicates in a way that actually brings people together. He communicates in a way that brings the left and the right in unity. Right on his website, we just saw it the other day, it says, not left, not right, just America, just for America. This is good. How is this divisive rhetoric? Are you kidding me? CBS. Divisive rhetoric is Trump talking down on Kamala just because she might be different. Divisive rhetoric is Kamala saying, oh, you're a threat to democracy. This is divisive rhetoric. Divisive rhetoric is whenever Joe Biden discusses the quality of the voters that are at Trump rallies. That's divisive rhetoric. So this is torturing to watch. This is really unfortunate to see. And again, this is their interview piece, okay? But this is still just their introduction to RFK Jr. And I just believe it's so misleading and manipulative and toxic. Look at this.
He spent years spreading false claims about vaccines, COVID, even the September 11th attacks. He sat down, as I mentioned, with Major Garrett.
Why do you want?
All right, 45 seconds. That was their 45-second introduction to RFK Jr. Okay, so you're probably thinking, well, that's going to be okay, right? I mean, 45 seconds for a 6-minute video. It's their network. Maybe they should do whatever they want. Sure. At least now we're going to get then the rest of the 6 minutes is going to be for RFK Jr. talking, right? If you're thinking that, I want you to know your thinking is valid. But unfortunately, the media has lost your trust right now because that's not what happens. Look at this. I don't even think RFK Jr. talks for 10 seconds before it cuts out to someone else. Look at this.
Why do you want to be president?
I feel like our country has gone off the rails. Both political parties have lost track of what America's supposed to look like.
Since launching his campaign in April of last year.
Do you see that? Do you see that? There was a 45-second introduction, and then he talks for 10 seconds, and then he begins to be interrupted by their other broadcast, right? Because again, this is a hit piece, 100%. Most of this isn't him talking. Most of this is them interjecting their, oh, look at what happened with the Washington Post. Look at what happened with this behind the scenes clip from Trump and him talking after the assassination attempt. Like, most of this is not the interview. Okay, most of this is them throwing bad questions, getting bad, misleading responses, and it's so terrible to see. Now, I want to show one other thing that really proves my point here, okay? Because this just shows how out of pocket and out of context this is. It is so manipulative to the viewers, to normal people who watch normal news on their TV. Okay, look at this.
Major Garrett joins us now. He's looking into a lot of the Kennedy background and what he said recently. Good morning to you, Major. You also asked Kennedy about an apology text that he recently sent to a woman who had accused him of sexual assault. What did he say in this apology text?
That's right, Tony. This arises from an article that appeared in the Vanity Fair magazine earlier this month. It talks about a woman named Eliza Cooney, who in 1998 was a part-time babysitter for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his family. She was 23 at the time, and she told Vanity Fair that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on more than one occasion groped her and made her feel sexually threatened or sexualized. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. told me he has no memory of this at all, said it doesn't sound like his character, but acknowledged having sent Eliza Cooney a text after the Vanity Fair piece appeared apologizing. I asked Kennedy, is it possible you might have to apologize to other women? And I want to...
All right. Now, I want you to pay attention to what he just said, because it is so terrible. Okay, he just says, is it possible that you might have to apologize to more women? Okay, all right, those are his words.
To apologize to other women, and I want to get this directly. He said...
Okay. Now, this is important because I'm going to play the actual clip of what he actually says and what RFK Jr.'s actual response is. Because if you guys know RFK, you guys know that he doesn't talk in sound bites. And every time he's describing a situation, he describes it in all of its complexity, in all of the detail, in all of the context, right? And I believe that's why his positions are so strong, okay? But the unfortunate side of that is that it could be used to paint him in a very deceptive and unflattering picture. So look at what he says. And there's a reason why they're not showing RFK Jr. say these words, okay?
It's quite possible. I'm 70 years old. I had a very rambunctious life, unquote.
Okay, we're going to back up out of that detail and get into the general crush of political news.
Again, this was their 6 minute, their 6 minute clip, okay, where they barely even included RFK Jr. out of their entire 1 hour sit down conversation. And you're probably thinking, well, Adam, this is just Twitter. This is just X. Go on YouTube. The full video is on YouTube, right? To which I say, okay, you know what? You're right. There is a longer video on YouTube. It's 2 seconds long. Instead of it being 5 minutes and 59 seconds like it was on Twitter, it's now 6 minutes and 1 second. Where did the 2 seconds come from? I have no idea. But fortunately, they did end up sharing most of the conversation, but only until yesterday. They let that 6 minute hit piece live on the internet infamously for over 48 hours before they actually released something that comes close to the entire 1 hour interview. This is 42 seconds. This is 42 minutes. The actual interview, I will tell you, it's if you go on Apple Podcasts and you type in the takeout on Apple Podcasts, it might be on Spotify, I'm not entirely sure. I listen to my stuff on Apple. And you type in the takeout and RFK Jr. There, you can watch the entire 1 hour interview. And I really recommend anyone who's interested in RFK or as someone who's still forming an opinion on their candidate that they are looking to, cast their ballot in. Like, I recommend you listening to this interview. Okay. It's a great interview. It's very honest. Some of the questions feel a little manipulative, but I think it's okay because RFK Jr. he's a great communicator. Okay. And he knows how to battle these journalists. And I think that's good. But now I'll share with you the actual context in which he said those words that was now on the 6 minute hit piece. Okay. Check this out.
Article raised the name of Eliza Cooney, a part-time babysitter for you. You sent her a text apologizing. What did you apologize for? And what happened?
My statement speaks for itself to her. It was a private address to her. If I have no memory of any of this incident that she describes in it, and it's something that doesn't sound in character for me. But if human interactions are complicated. People have different interpretations of them. And if I did anything to hurt somebody, I'm going to make amends for that.
Now, I want you to pay attention to his language, okay? Because he's not just talking about women here. He's talking about just people in general, okay? Not women, just people. That's his position right now.
And that was my purpose in sending that note. I didn't intend that note to be public. I make no comment on her allegations publicly. But, I don't want to leave anybody in the world feeling like I did something that was insensitive or inappropriate and not make an amends to them.
Do you think you may have to do that ever again?
Okay, now remember how I told you to register what he said on CBS? Okay. Now, RFK Jr. was speaking very, very generally. Okay, he was talking about people in general.
It's quite possible. Kennedy, is it possible you might have to apologize to other women? And I want to
see how the language is different. See how it's intentionally different. Now, I don't want to speak for RFK Jr., but I do want to say that what he was just describing was his posture towards people in general, not just women. And the way that this guy framed his follow-up question was
comment on her allegations publicly. But, I don't want to leave anybody in the world feeling like I did something that was insensitive or inappropriate and not make an amends to them.
Do you think you may have to do that ever again?
See what I mean?
It's quite possible. I'm 70 years old. I had a very rambunctious life. I had, right now I'm having hundreds of interactions with people all the time. I've had a very, very active life, and it's quite possible that I've left people who feel injured or feel, who feel who feel injured from me in some way. And if that happens, I'll apologize to them as well.
So again, he's painting with pretty broad strokes here. Okay, if someone has felt injured in some way. Now, I will say this. Now, even though I believe RFK Jr. is an incredibly good communicator, especially for a politician, especially for the amount of the communication ability of the politicians that we see in mainstream media, I think he's great. But I will say commenting on a sexual allegation and using the word injured is not smart here. Okay, he definitely should not have said that. And I do think that's an unfortunate decision on his end. And I really, really hope that I do think RFK Jr. has somewhat of a PR problem, but I also think that he could do a better job of taking really complex ideas and simplifying it. Right now, because he really understands problems, he knows that things aren't necessarily black and white, and the truth just takes so much more discussion, all right, and more real estate in a conversation, which is unfortunate because whenever you know so much, you know that you need to explain a significant amount of details in order to reach understanding. But in this TikTok age, right, people only give something 10 seconds and then they're off. If you can't say it in 10 seconds, you're almost going to be irrelevant. Okay, so I do think RFK could take this opportunity to become a stronger communicator, more concise communicator, and I believe if he does that, then these types of situations wouldn't really happen moving forward. But yeah, let's keep watching.
Well,
Very last question. Anything you want to say about the picture with the dog from 2010?
And that's pretty much the conversation that I wanted to have. Now, again, if you wanted to listen to this entire podcast, definitely go on Apple and type in The Takeout. Okay, type in The Takeout and RFK Jr. and you'll see the entire clip, because even though this is 42 minutes, it's significantly better than the 6-minute clip that they put on X. You're still missing a great chunk of details. All right, like he's able to elaborate on many different subjects throughout this interview, and I think it's a disservice for them to not put the entire thing. Again, I also wish this was live. Too, for whatever reason, CBS, the people at CBS, just didn't want to trust RFK Jr. in front of a live, stream. But yeah, I digress. Anyways, the purpose of this video is because I was just talking to my fiance today. Also, that's like the first time that I mentioned on camera that I'm an engaged man. All right, I'm so happy. I'm engaged to my beautiful fiance, and I'm very, very happy. Going to be getting married soon. Not sure if anyone cares, but I'm excited about it, and it's going to be so, so great. Anyways, I was having a conversation with her today, and I was thinking about, like, what's more important, telling someone what to do or teaching someone how to think? Because right now, I believe that we have a critical thinking issue right now, especially in politics, especially in the amount of people who are consuming these narratives, because they're so quick to jump to conclusions instead of actually doing more of the research in order to draw an effective conclusion. And I do think teaching someone how to think is extraordinarily more important than just telling someone what to do. Okay, now I will continue this just for a bit, but one of the quotes that I absolutely love from this futurist, this pastor, this incredible thinker. I have all his books right here behind me. His name's Erwin McManus. I adore this guy. I value his perspective and his insight so much. And one thing that he said a while ago was, I don't know if I see reality more clearly. I just know that the reality we see isn't clear. Now, to me, this has become so evident, especially in how we consume politics, how we consume media in general, because people here are almost telling you exactly how to think. You saw it right here in the beginning of this video, where they spent the first 40 seconds trying to deceive you of RFK Jr., saying that, oh, he only has 6%, he's anti-vax, he's this and that, he lies about what he says, his platform is people before parties, but that's not what he actually thinks. Like, all of this is designed to manipulate voters. It's designed to manipulate an audience, to manipulate you. And I just think that's so incredibly unfair. So I believe what I wanted to do with this video was, again, I wanted to kind of show someone how they should think a little bit deeper about these things. Now, I'm about to end this video, but I will say there's 3 things that I want to discuss about how to actually approach this. One is to question everything. Question literally everything. I like to think of, whenever I read and I'm trying to deconstruct something, I think question everything until there is nothing left to question. Because when you question everything until there's absolutely nothing left to question, then you will actually have critical understanding. Okay, I believe it was Albert Einstein who said that if you don't understand something well enough to explain it simply, then you don't understand it at all. Now, in order to understand something completely, I believe, is to question everything. And my following point is to just attempt to think so critically about circumstances. Now, how do you think critically? All right, this is so vague. Personally, for me, part of even what I do here is I explore perspectives. We explore perspectives. When something happens, and let's say it's covered by the Associated Press, I don't just read the Associated Press. Let me see what Fox is saying. Let me see what CBS is saying. Let me see what CNN is saying. Let me see what MSNBC is saying, because everyone has their biases. Every news organization has their biases, even the ones who say that they don't. So I believe part of thinking critically is exploring different perspectives and extracting the truth from them. I'd even add that, actually. Extracting the truth. Think critically and extract the truth. Now, the bonus point is something that is deeply personal, and I just want to give everyone an opportunity. Like, you don't need to watch this next part. If you want to leave, you absolutely can. But I'm gonna share something that I believe is personal, that I believe could really help someone experience life change. And I urge you that if you're not open to it, you could just leave. Okay, I'm giving you the opportunity to leave. But if you are open to different perspectives, then I welcome you. Okay, so a lot of people here already know that I am someone who believes in the truth of the Bible. I am a follower of Jesus. I believe that Jesus rose from the dead, died from our sins, came back, and I just believe in that truth. Okay. Now, what I want to do is I want to open this up to this, one of my favorite scriptures. This is Romans 12:2, and it's one of my favorite scriptures on thinking. Okay. So, and I believe that people who don't even believe in the Bible would find a lot of truth here. So let's read this together. It's, do not be shaped by this world. I think this is so interesting because Paul already is talking to the Roman church, and he is saying that the world is going to try to manipulate you. The world is going to try to make something sound sane to you when you know it's not. The world is going to try to do something to you. Now, I believe this is true today. Okay, I believe we're seeing this in normal media. Okay, I believe we saw this in CBS. I believe we saw this in the New York Times whenever there was an assassination attempt on Trump. I believe this is happening today. Okay, but here we're finding confidence from Paul saying, "Do not be shaped by this world." Now, look at this. This is thinking. Instead, be changed within by a new way of thinking. Paul is telling people that we could elevate our way of thinking by being changed within. And this change happens from a new way of thinking. And I just think that is so interesting. And he goes on to say, then you will be able to decide what God wants for you. And what I think is really powerful about this is there's two things. One, this says, then you. Okay. And I just believe this describes how personal relationship with Jesus is, because he's not saying like, you need to do this, you need to do that, and everyone needs to follow these rules, but it's you personally, from being changed by a new way of thinking. You personally, just like it's me, just like it's you personally will be able to decide what God wants for you. Okay, so it's not even this, okay, we're going to say this is the truth and you need to abide by it and that's it. But this is more like an invitation. From this new way of thinking, you will be able to decide what God wants for you. And now how I interpret that is, whenever you think critically about something and you're able to extract the truth, only then are you able to decide what's actually for you. Okay, because whenever you just think critically, you begin to elevate the conversation at such a new level that you're not part of this world and you have been changed by a new way of thinking. And I just think it's great. And it goes on to say, and you will be able to know what is good and pleasing to God and what is perfect. Okay, again, good, pleasing, perfect. These are good things. These are things that happen whenever you engage in critical thinking. I believe this is beautiful. I believe when you become a better thinker, you actually end up elevating the conversation, not only internally, but in every other sector of your life. And I believe it's so beautiful. So all that to say that the final bonus point to me is life change doesn't come from changing action. Life change comes from changing thinking. And I was thinking about this before I started recording, and it's that a lot of people believe that life change comes from changing what you actually do, but that's just not true. Life change genuinely comes from changing the way that you think. And I believe right now we almost have a thinking problem in politics, right? There's people who are lifelong Democrats who always vote blue no matter who. That's the saying, vote blue no matter who. All right. And likewise, there's Republicans who they don't care who the Republican is, but if there's an R next to their name on a ballot, they're going to vote for them. Okay. But I believe life change truly comes whenever you elevate your thinking, whenever you learn more, whenever you expose yourself to a new type of self-awareness, whenever you engage more deeply, whenever you move past the headline of something and you actually are able to extract the truth. Anyways, that's the whole video. That's all I had. Now, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you want to let me know what your thoughts are, what your perspective is on all of this in the comment section, I would absolutely welcome it. If you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree with me, let me know. I love engaging in respectful discourse in the comment section. I love going back and forth with people. I think it's helpful. I think it's incredibly important. And I also love seeing people just bring their insight and their perspective and their worldview into the comment section. I think it's incredibly valuable. I believe that you have something beautiful to say. I believe you have a great life experience that you could bring so much insight into all of these conversations. And I just love that this comment section on these videos could be an area where you could share what you believe in a meaningful way, in a respectful way, and people could actually have genuine conversations here, right? That doesn't happen everywhere on the internet. You can't have this conversation on the New York Times Instagram. Like you're gonna get flamed by one side of the political aisle. But here I believe we do a pretty good job of managing discourse and allowing people to share what they believe. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day. So that's going to be that video. I am going to stay a little bit. Here, but I'll just be responding to comments. I think it'd be cool. But yeah, I'll just be here for a second. The stream's already over. The video is going to be posted on YouTube afterwards. But this live, I think, is cool. I think this is cool. There's still a lot of people here, so we could just go ahead and keep talking because I think it's awesome. You're very wise and insightful beyond your years. Great presentation. Thank you so much. That's super kind. I really wanted to look at the comments so much during the entire live, but I wanted this to be a good experience for the people who are going to watch it after the fact. So that's the only reason why I didn't bring up comments throughout the first pretty much 20 minutes or so. I'm sorry if that wasn't what you're expecting. Again, this was supposed to be a full video just on YouTube, not a live, just a regular video. But I had so much problems actually processing that video. For whatever reason, my internet sucked today, and it was terrible. So I'm really sorry. Thoughts on if RFK could win in a contingent election? I would say so. Just because I don't see either party in Congress making a unified decision. And I think RFK Jr. would be a good alternative. And I think people might actually realize that in that scenario, they might have more in common with Kennedy than, yeah. So I do believe that. we support you and we believe in your creative journalism and your political agenda and the way you speak of RFK Jr. Thank you so much. That's so nice. Thank you. I look forward to seeing the live stream once it's posted. Thank you for doing that. Of course, I'm excited. I'm excited too. I'm also trying to make more of these live streams more consistently. My idea is to do this every day, but to do it earlier in the day, right? That's my idea. I hope. Let me know what time works for everyone. I'm kind of thinking around 9 or 10, and I'll do like a live episode. You guys want to hear my idea for what I'm going to call it? I think it's really cool. And I'm kind of super into branding and names, but we can't see the messages once you post it, right? So the way that I'll post it, oh man, I don't know. I don't think so. We might. It might. Depends how I post it, because I might, depending on the quality of the stream, it might end up being a full, like, good quality video. It might end up being a really good quality video. So I'll go ahead and just export all of that footage and upload it just myself. Or in YouTube Studio, will I just cut all of this part out and I'll just take it from the beginning and that's going to be the video. So I'm not sure. It depends. Yeah. Journalism is not journalism anymore. It's reporters' biased opinion. I agree. Yeah. It's supposed to be about fact, and that is just not the case anymore. No one cares about a journalist's opinion. You know, I don't know. I do think journalists come with journalistic integrity, and I believe there are great journalists that do that. But unfortunately, I believe that in this new world of advertising, that the most extravagant clicks, the most extravagant titles get the most clips or clicks. So it almost makes the job of a journalist so hard. So I think it's such a double-edged sword, because I do think a lot of journalists care about the facts, but at the end of the day, I see them also needing to provide for their family, needing to provide for their life, X, Y, or Z, like it's a job. And it's just tough, right? Because you have journalistic integrity, but you also have, like, if I don't do the job well, then I don't make any money, and then I can't feed my family. Like it's tough. I wish there was a way to have journalism completely separate of any sort of advertising. Like, I really wish when I went on CNN, I wish no one was able to see any ads, right? But unfortunately, all of these places are run by advertisements, and it sucks. Oof. Yeah, they cut the good parts out. It sucks. I don't want BlackRock in charge of our treasury. I agree. He is honest, fair, cares about people, and will do the best for our country. Perfect. Wow. Oh, that's so sweet. Hey, Paul, you're so awesome. I might take a picture of that. I'm gonna take a picture of that just because it's so nice. Oh gosh darn it. That's really sweet. I think that this is the most insightful and enjoyable political content out there. Most of it is so toxic. Only RFK Jr. content leaves you feeling hopeful. I completely agree. I think it's, I don't know. I watch a lot of people who discuss political stuff, and I don't get it. It's so hard because these guys so clearly have an agenda, and even just the way that they describe something, it just feels like it lacks so much truth. And it's unfortunate, because I think people just lean into their own biases so much because they know that their biases are in agreement with other people's biases, and they know that that content, that media will do really well. And it's just, I don't know, it sucks because I just don't think that you need to be anti something to be for something else, right? And I think that's why I like RFK, because he doesn't really talk down on Trump. He didn't really talk down on Biden for the most part. And I think it's because he's like, my policies speak for myself. And I think that's great. Let's see. You popped up in my feed since you had RFK in the title, and I went ahead and subscribed. Hey, that's so cool. Isn't RFK doing some kind of live chat Q&A session tomorrow? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. He might. I know he did a TikTok live yesterday, and those are so cool because they're TikTok town halls, and I think those are so awesome. I saw the last one. I didn't get to see this one, but it's so cool. I really love it. I think every candidate should be forced to do that. Wow. The old YouTube and the old MySpace, no ads, no filters. You know what I think? I say this a lot. It's advertisements ruined the internet. The internet was perfect before ads existed. Ads really mess things up. But it's so hard. Like, what's the incentive of making content or making videos or writing articles or any sort of publishing? What's the incentive if there's no ads or if there's no monetary exchange? Now, I wish the incentive for everyone would be like, it's just good work. I just need people to know the truth. I'm just going to put it out there. I wish that were true. But you know what? Everything comes with a dollar, with a price tag next to it. And at the end of the day, CNN employs how many people? Fox employs how many people? Like, all of these large media conglomerates depend so much on advertising dollars. They depend so much on clicks. They depend on ad space on their TVs, on our phones. And it's just, if they can't get people to click on media, then no one watches the video, and then they don't make money, and then it's just tragic, right? Like, I wish it wasn't like this. I wish they were completely separate, but I don't know. I don't know how it'd be. Wow, I love YouTube Premium, but I hate censoring words. I have to go back to the beginning. Hey, you know what, Deacon? There's gonna be a full video of this tomorrow, and because right now we're just in like the chat space. Okay, this probably is gonna be hidden. Maybe this is gonna be for like members. Okay. Also, guys, you want to know what's awesome? The last time I did a live, I had 2 people become a member to this channel, and I've never talked about it before. I have never talked about it. And just one day, whenever I went on YouTube Studio and I'm looking at my analytics, it just said I got 2 members. And I'm like, what the heck? Where these guys come from? I never talked about it. And I think that's incredible. Out of nowhere, never mentioning it. It's like, I don't even have a lot of things on there right now, but the fact that 2 people joined, I think is so sweet. And I have an idea that for all the members, I think I'm going to put their name at the end of the video, and you're just going to see like a list of them. And I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be so cool. Alfred said, I've said it before, this young man is on the right track. Expect great things from him. I pray the Lord to guide his life and use him in a powerful way. Amen, Alfred. Amen. Yes and amen. I believe it. I believe it. Wow, that's so good. That's generally why I like open source models, because of algorithms and making sure that you're not being deceptive. Yeah, I think it's true. That's why I like what Twitter did, what Elon Musk did. He made their algorithms open source to make sure that, or you know what RFK Jr. also discussed? He said that we're going to be manipulated, but we should know how we're being manipulated. That's why we should know the platforms that's why we should know that's why they should all be open source models, right? Because we should know how we're being manipulated. And I just thought that was so powerful. Also, thank you so much, Belite. Wow. Hey, Oxy OG, who is the best president in your opinion? Like, in all of history, or like the best candidate right now? Who do you guys think is the best president? It's such a fun conversation, just because, like, I believe I'm relatively on the younger side, right? Oh, in all of history, I think there's an argument to be made of probably the most iconic ones. I think Abraham Lincoln is probably in the top spot for me, right? I think I was just reading one of the books written about, I believe it's called Killing Lincoln, And this like broke my heart, but I was reading how the days up until he was about to, you know, have his life taken, he read, I really believe that I don't believe I'm gonna make it. I think someone's out for my life. I don't believe I'm gonna last very long. People want to take me out. And it was just breaking my heart. It was just breaking my heart. Like, this guy knew how not divisive he was, but he knew how divisive America was. And that sounds so tragic. It sounds like we're almost reliving it today. You know, it's not that he was a divisive figure, it's that America was a divisive audience. Yeah. And it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, I am not a journalist at all. At all. And I don't think I ever claimed to be a journalist. I think I even was talking about this recently, but like, there's people who are genuinely really good journalists. They're like they go and they investigate and they interview people, and that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm not a journalist at all. I want to be very clear. I'm just a guy who I believe likes to share perspectives and wants to make sure that some of these conversations exist in a way that aren't being had right now. Because I'm pretty dissatisfied on the quality of conversations that I believe exist on the internet. They feel like they're one-sided. They feel like they are heavily biased, and they're not disclosing their bias. I feel like I disclose my bias all the time, right? Like, you know, even before, whenever I brought up scripture, I was like, guys, you could leave. I'm being very clear. I am a follower of Jesus. I'm being very, very clear here. But man, yeah, you don't need to be a journalist. It's valuable just to be able to bring people together. I completely agree. I believe just having people together is just great. You know, having a space where people could just discuss things in a meaningful way, elevate the conversation, and with a desire to push humanity forward. I think these are good things. Laura says, you do a good job of pointing things out and bringing things to light. This is what we need. I agree. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, what a great way to say that. Chillin'. What a great way to say that, is to create a healthy marketplace of ideas. You should write that down. I'm gonna write that down. What a great sentence, is to create a healthy marketplace of ideas. That's so good. I believe Ernick Manis talked about this concept of like an arena, because it's one of his like classes or courses, and he discusses how he believes that in order to be a high functioning society, there needs to be an arena of ideas, and the best idea will win. And I don't think that's happening right now, because right now what's happening is the best idea is getting shadow banned. The best idea is people are lowering the volume on the best idea, right? Did you guys see what was happening with Trump on Google? Like, if you type in like Trump, a lot of Kamala Harris stuff pops up. Like, that's lowering the volume, right? The best ideas are not winning right now, and it's tragic. Someone said, what made you start on YouTube? You know what? I started on YouTube in 2016. I've been on YouTube for a really, really long time. Almost a decade now. It's crazy. CBS is biased, 100%. All right. Have we had a good president before? I think so, 100%. I think we've absolutely had good presidents before, but the problem is presidents aren't usually well perceived when they're actually in office. Like, if you ever look at what the media would say during, like, even whenever Lincoln was alive, right, or even whenever like just these other iconic presidents, even at the time, they were pretty divisive. Like, people were torn on issues, and they were talking a lot of bad things about them, and it's just so interesting to see. Like, when Trump was president, and you were to go on the comment section on Twitter, you would see people saying the nastiest, dirtiest things of President Trump. Okay. Whenever he left office and President Biden came in, you would see the same exact thing. People would say, oh my gosh, you're the worst. What are you even doing? You're too old, all of this. And this is just, I don't think these people represent the majority of America, but I do think it's the squeaky wheel that gets the oil. And that's what's happening. So I don't think we are able to appreciate a good president until long after they're done, right? Because the things that they did in their administration might take a while to actually see the benefits of. So it's tough. It's tough. RFK should use that. A healthy marketplace of ideas. I completely agree. Joshua, congratulations on your engagement, man. Hey, thank you. It's really cool. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to get married. Oh my gosh. It's going to be the best, really. Thank you so much. This is a great way to end my evening, and I look forward to watching the video after you post it. Hey, thank you so much. We need to get louder than the rest of the candidates. RFK is getting buried with all the noise. There is a lot of noise, and it is super unfortunate. Wow. Oh, congrats. Hey, thank you so much, Freya. I'm really excited. It's going to be so cool. I think this is a really good way to end this. Thank you so much. I think this is a really good way to end this live stream. So let's go ahead. Oh, absolutely. We will absolutely do more lives. Yeah. This is great. Do you think that the thing with 100,000 white men for Kamala was real? What's that? I don't know what this is. What's that? Did that just happen? Maybe I haven't heard it yet. I've been trying to record for a long time. So usually whenever I'm recording, I'm not really on Twitter whenever I'm recording because I'm trying to get things done. But have a great night. Thank you so much, Freya. I do know that tomorrow, I believe they're having a white dudes for Kamala thing, and I believe Pete Buttigieg is going to be there. I did see that. I believe that's tomorrow. I don't know about the 100,000 part, though. Maybe there is. If there is, we'll see. Thank you so much, Happy Oscar. That's so nice. RFK is only qualified candidate. You know, if we were choosing people based on policies and based on who would actually be the best person to lead this country, I believe the choice would be pretty clear, personally, right? If we weren't voting for people, and if we weren't voting for party, and if we were only voting for policy, RFK would probably win. I'll say that. It's crazy. That's how we should vote. But man, it's crazy. Thank you so much, Deacon. Oh, he has a Facebook Live tomorrow? Okay, that's cool. Okay, this is awesome. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. This was great. Thank you so much. Hope everyone has a great night. You are all incredible for being here. And I just really value everyone's perspective. And I'll see you next time. Cool.